Hello and a happy new year from Frankfurt. This is Hela Bar's Primary Market Outlook. My name is Thomas Kors. I run the Financial Institutions Group. This is Matthias Melms, who runs the DCM and Syndicate in my team. For a start, I have to explain that I look a bit funny today. No explanations for the beard, but explanations for the eye cap. I have a little injury on my eyes, so it looks funny, so I better spare you that view. Enough of that. So let's delve directly into the market. The total euro market issuance in covered bonds last year was 222 billion. Nice to remember, 222 in 2022, of which only 207 billion were actually in proper European currency. That's 90%, meaning the euro has still remained the most dominant currency in the market. FIG euro market issuance was about 40% of the overall. The overall was about 1.4 trillion, and that's been growing 3 years in a row, so since 2020. On the SSA side, the development has exactly been the opposite. It has been shrinking for 3 years in a row, which is why we're focusing on covereds today. In this respect, the market has already started pretty violently. And, well, there were a lot of people expecting major issuance. Matthias, has it happened?
Yes, a clear yes. The expectation in a Bloomberg poll by the end of last year was FIG issuance activity around 13 billion for the first week of 2023. And what should I say? After 2 days, we have reached the upper range of this number, so that we can say today we will get a massive issuance wave in January, at least the first weeks. So we will get another very good start in terms of issuance volume into the year.
Wonderful. Now, then let's look back at last year. What have been the most important jurisdictions for the issuers?
So first of all, with 207 billion euros in euro-denominated covered bonds, we have set a new record in terms of issuance volume. And we have seen that exactly 3 jurisdictions have driven for a huge degree this issuance activity.
Let me guess. Pfandbrief?
Yes, you're right. We have seen with 40 billion, we have seen the highest issuance activity from German covered bond issuers, followed by French issuers with closely over 40 billion euros. And on rank number 3 were the Canadians, where the guys have issued the first time over 30 billion euros.
So our oldest and our newest best friends, French and Canadians, fantastic. But that's obvious, not too difficult.
Yep.
What's not so obvious, the number 4 and number 5, both starting with the same 2 letters, right?
That's correct. With 15 billion euros, we have never seen such high issuance activity out of Austria before, and also our Australian friends have set with over 5 billion a new record in terms of euro issuance activity.
Is that going to continue this year? What do you think?
Yeah, before I answer this question, let us have a quick look on the environment that we face today. You can see the red line that represents the swap yield curve as it is today on January the 3rd of 2023. And you can clearly see that this curve is inverse up to the very long end of the curve. That is a little bit different to what we have observed in October. But that is dominating the maturities that we see were going to the market in the first 2 days and will go to the market in the next weeks, from our perspective. With the sweet spot being at 2 up to 3 years, issuers focus on exactly short to midterm maturities.
That has been pretty much the same pattern over the last 3 months, right?
This is exactly what we observed in the fourth quarter last year, and I think that will be continue until we see a change in the central bank policy.
So no chance for 10 years plus, the usual habitat for the French and the Germans?
I have talked today with my covered bond dealer, and he said to me, look, Matthias, everything has a price. So if the issuers are willing to pay a high spread, also 10 years plus were possible, but I don't see that at the moment.
So what else is driving the market right now?
Besides the bond swap, besides the swap yield, we have the bond swap spread, which is roughly 40 basis points lower than it was in October. So covered bonds are still attractive, but less attractive as they were 3 months ago.
On a purely relative value basis.
On a relative value basis, exactly. So that leads us to our overall assumption that we will get a covered bond issuance volume of roughly 160 billion euros.
Wow, that doesn't sound a lot. I mean, we had over 200 last year. Why all of a sudden less if all the conditions look attractive for covered bonds?
So it is less than last year, but it is more than we've seen the years before 2022. Bring it to the right perspective. The main reason why we expect lower issuance activity is lower mortgage production because of the high interest rate environments that we have. Mortgage production have collapsed in a lot of countries, down up to 30%. And that is mirroring exactly in our forecast for this year.
All right. If I look at this chart, that would imply we're going to have some seasonal patterns again in issuance this year. Is that going to be the same patterns that we had before, so January, September?
So we have extremely strong patterns in the covered bond market, and we think that we also get an issuance wave at the beginning of the year and after the summer break.
As we already see today. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. And what does it mean for the other factors that could possibly affect the market?
So let's have a quick look on the volatility drivers that we see in 23. So we have the old factors that we still have had this year. Inflation, further hikes by central bank, and the quantitative tightening by the ECB. We think that the Russian-Ukrainian war will be a volatility driver also in 23, but could be on the positive side when we get a negotiation result. And we have China with two factors that we forecast. First of all, the COVID strategy, and with a huge unknown, Taiwan.
A negotiation result. Do you believe in Santa Claus?
I hope. I don't believe.
I rather expect a negotiation result than another invasion, and I hope I'm right with that one. Okay, so on the first glance, this looks like pretty much the same stuff we had before. There's even COVID again on there, which we didn't have last time, I think. Where's Italy?
Italy is a little bit different this year. So we think that the Italian government has proved, at least in the last 3 months, that there's no interest in causing too much trouble. So that was a kind of positive surprise in terms of volatility. And we think that the more pragmatic politic will continue.
Great. Well, so hooray for Italy, hooray for reality, and hooray for Matthias and his outlook. Thank you very much, Matthias. And
Thanks,
thank you very much, dear audience, for bearing with us, bearing with bad news, good news, and hopefully a good outlook for the year. We are from Hellerbar. This is Matthias Merms. I'm Thomas Kors. All the best for the new year. Stay safe and sound.